6:47 right now. The start of school is less than 2 months away for most Alabama school districts, and state leaders still working on a plan, putting it together for the return to the classroom. In fact, we heard just moments ago an official announcement is coming this Friday morning at 10 o'clock.
Joining us via Zoom this morning is Florence City School Superintendent Dr. Jimmy Shaw. Good morning, Dr. Shaw. Good to have you back with us.
Good morning.
Last week, we heard the state superintendent decided to push back the release of what's being called the roadmap to reopening Alabama schools. We just heard less than 24 hours ago he plans to roll out those plans this Friday morning at 10 o'clock, as Pat just mentioned. Superintendents like yourself have been adding your ideas during this time in the drafting phase. Can you kind of walk us through what kind of ideas are on the table and what we hope to see on Friday?
So I don't want to say anything before Dr. Mackey rolls out his plan. I know that we have several things that we're discussing that are embargoed, but I do feel like people need to understand that Dr. Mackey is basically, and Alabama Department of Public Health are basically rolling out a framework for us to be able to make decisions with the idea that school will be open, but people will have options if they do not feel comfortable. They will have virtual options to be able to allow the children to stay at home.
Seems like a lot of choices in there. Obviously, you know, Dr. Shaw, you know, a lot of the parents are wondering, please let me know ahead of time so I can make the proper preparations for my child. That will be part of this, won't it?
It will be. I think once Dr. Mackey rolls out his framework on Friday, you will begin to hear from school districts probably around early July. But what I can say to the public is pretty much as far as I can understand, everybody will have the option of either going in person or going virtual.
So that kind of allows you guys no one size fits all for school districts. What about Florence City Schools? I know we've been hearing from other school districts in recent weeks about putting up kind of dividers in their plexiglass for the front office areas. Do you guys have plans for your schools, and as far as making sure you're following social distancing guidelines through plexiglass and additional dividers?
So when you talk about dividers and plexiglass, to my understanding that has been mainly for public office personnel people. We do have plans to do that as well. I have not been told about plexiglass or dividers in classrooms. I do think as this evolves, I think the CDC and Alabama Department of Public Health's guidelines on what social distance is and is not, I think, are evolving as well. And I think it'll be a part of the plan that will come out.
One quick question, Dr. Shaw. I'm sorry, you were saying you wanted to continue. Okay. One quick
No,
question
about
student athletes. We're starting to see more of them getting together, doing the workouts and so on. Eventually, practices will start up and so on. Any major concerns that you have about that right now? Because we are seeing some cases of some of those students testing positive for coronavirus.
We are, and everyone I know has taken very similar precautions about small groupings. Everyone I know, in particular, we have strict cleaning protocols in between workouts, in between sets. As much as we can, we put them outside. When they're within 6 feet, they are masked up, they have masks on. But I do know there's concern, and I think there's two parts of that though. They are with us a limited amount of time every day, and we do all that we can do to try to sanitize and keep them safe. But there's also 22 other hours in the day that they are out in the public. And I think we have a community or public that is kind of split on how they feel about it, because you go and you see waiting lines in restaurants, you see waiting lines in department stores, beauty shops. I mean, so there are those who are really concerned and want to keep their children isolated, and I totally understand it. And there are those who are more free about it. Our job is to make sure that we take whatever CDC and state guidelines that we have, mainly the Alabama Department of Public Health guidelines, and make sure that we have all the safety precautions in place. But there are no guarantees for anything.
That's a fair point, yeah.
All right, Dr. Jimmy Shaw, Superintendent, Florence City Schools, we always appreciate you joining us and for your insight on this topic. We appreciate your time this morning, Dr. Shaw.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, you bet, Dr. Shaw. 6:42 right now.
In the wake